Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Charles Coachman, and this is Bay Area Let's Talk. Bay Area Let's Talk. Hey, everything going on in the Bay Area right now is talking about the rains and what's happening in the mountains and the areas that have been on fire over the summer. Let's talk about that. But today we're going to have a special guest, and he'll be on in just a moment. But I like to start my shows by giving some quick shout outs, and those are happy birthdays. So happy birthday to Barbara Coachman Easler. The name looks familiar. That's my cousin out of the Southland, not LA, down in Louisiana, Arkansas, Alabama, those areas. So Barbara Coachman Easler, happy birthday to you. And if it's your birthday out there, happy birthday to you. Wishing you a wonderful day on your day. So Barbara, have a great day. All right, let's see what we got going on now. Bay Area Let's Talk. Again, I am Charles Coachman. You can reach me by 408-439-0766 or email at bayarealetstalk@gmail.com. And then we have Grow Live Academy that I like to let everyone know about it. That is Ken Wall's program, Grow Live Academy. And then we are using the platform that we are using to go live is StreamYard.com. And then I am staying in contact with my clients using hippovideo.com. So hippovideo.com, StreamYard.com, and the Grow Live Academy. Today we have a special guest, and that is Justin Benton of 101 CBD. You got to listen to this story. It's an awesome story. So let's add Justin in. Hey, Justin.
What's up?
Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Charles. So excited to be here and talk some Bay Area, talk some California, talk some rain, talk some hemp, talk some all kinds of good stuff.
Well, what are you guys getting as far as rain down there? Is it?
It's not pouring yet. We were supposed to get a bunch. I'm looking out the window. It's just kind of a light rain. I'm up in Ojai, California today, which is about 20 minutes inland. So I'm about 1,000 feet up. So we're okay for now. But, as we always know in California, we'll take as much rain as we can get, just not all at once.
All at once. That's the big thing around here. We've got areas, Monterey and Big Sur, that were getting up to a foot of rain yesterday. I live 15 minutes from the Santa Cruz Mountains, and where the big fires were this last summer, and they are going to get a foot of rain. So really concerned about that. But we are here to talk about Justin Benton and his life and this mission that he has. So Justin, tell me a little bit about where you were born and raised.
Born and raised in Omaha, Nebraska. So right in the middle of the heartland, and born right in the middle of the cornfields. We had corn, steak, and football. Well, we used to have football. We'll see if we ever get that back. But grew up in Omaha. Went to Creighton University. Is also in Omaha, a little private Jesuit school. Had a good time there. And then when my opportunity came, I believe the day I graduated, I packed up my car and headed east. I flipped a coin. I had not a chance to either. I was going to go to the Carolinas or California. I had some buddies from Creighton that were out there already. So I went out to Charlotte and hung out there for a few years, had a couple good jobs, and did all kinds of fun things to do out there. And then I had to take some care of some business back in Omaha, some residential and commercial property that we had to run for the family business. And then it was off to California about 15 years ago. And home sweet home out here in Ventura, California.
Okay. What type of family business did you have?
It was a real estate business. So we had a bunch of commercial properties and things like that. So I was running them, property management, just kind of overseeing some things and making sure everything was right. And I just took care of that. And once I did my family obligation, I was like, California, here I come.
Awesome. Awesome. So we have reached your college. You went to Creighton College, graduated from Creighton.
99. Yeah. Go Blue Jays.
And then headed east to the Carolinas.
You bet. Charlotte, and had some great times out there. It's close to the West Virginia mountains, and did some whitewater rafting out there in the Upper Gully, and then Outer Banks out there past Wilmington and Carolinas. Beautiful sandbar about 15 miles off it's the furthest East Coast thing where two parts of the ocean meet, and had a lot of fun and met a lot of great people. And, I'm an avid golfer. And so before I had 4 kids. And so I couldn't play golf in December, and the humidity was brutal. I'd also lived in New Jersey and Florida when I was younger as well. And so I knew that, I'm not a big fan of waking up at 8 a.m. and stepping outside and being drenched in sweat. So I didn't check all the boxes. So I knew California had to give it a try. And, it's the best. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Okay. Well, I spent a summer in Buffalo. So I know what that was like, going outside, walking from one side of the plant to the other. They were across the street from each other, and you would need to take a shower. Humidity was so horrible. So horrible.
No thanks. No, thank you.
Hey, how did you meet your wife?
So when I had moved back to Omaha to take care of some family business, I had taken a job as a sales manager for a company. And there was this lovely angel on the other end of the phone who was the marketing director. And so being a sales manager and talking with the marketing director was kind of a normal day-to-day thing. Hey, Doug, what's going on? And I I fell in love with her. It's funny because, we have Clubhouse, and with Clubhouse, you're just talking to people, and there's no video. And back then there wasn't really video. This is 2005-ish. And, you get to know somebody by their voice, and you get to know who they are, and you just talk and communicate, and there isn't any distractions of anything else. And so for 2 years, we got to know each other really well. And, then we decided to meet out in Las Vegas. There was a little company function that we were having, and it didn't really need to happen, but I really wanted to meet her. Awesome. And so we kind of kept that as the guys to meet. And then one thing led to another. And we were on top of the Ghost Bar, which is on the 57th floor of the Rio, overlooking the whole city, and just dancing and having a blast. And ever since that night, I would fly coast to coast to, spend the weekend with her, and she'd fly out with me. And then eventually we decided to, who we kidding, let's move in together. And she moved out to Omaha with me. And while we got the family affairs taken care of first, and then we also, decided to work together. So that's our story. And now, if fast forward to now, we've got, 4 beautiful children. And I've been married 12 years now. And it's been amazing.
Awesome. All right. What's the breakdown on children?
So I got an 11 Zoe, 8 is Shay, 4 is Faith, and we have a baby Grace who's 4 months old.
Okay. So 3 girls, 1 boy. Awesome.
So
awesome.
Big family. We got our hands full, especially with homeschooling and everything else going on here. But every day is a blessing, and I come from a big family, so I'm used to it, but it's certainly a blessing.
How about your wife? Is she used to it?
She loves it. She only had 1 brother growing up, so it's a different scenario, but she was totally on board. She knew she was marrying an Irish Catholic boy, so we tend to, have bigger families. So she knew what she was signing up for.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Before you got to 101 CBD, what type of work, other than working with the family and what you've done here, what type of work did you do when you were on the East Coast?
Well, I was always, my first job was in sales. It was inside sales, once again, on the phone, hence why I love Clubhouse. And so it was inside sales. Back then, how far you called somebody. Long distance phone service would measure how long the call cost per minute for you old people. You understand what I'm saying, like me, but for all you younger people, you're like, what does that mean? landline. And one of my favorite thing is when you're hiring millennials, they're like, you'll give them a phone to make a call on or whatever, a landline business phone. And they're like, this phone's broke. And I'm like, no, the phone's not broken. You just have to push a 1. So, So anyways, I was always in sales my whole life. I think all of us are in sales, whether you're trying to get a candy bar checking out at the grocery store, or you're trying to impress someone to go on that first date or get that job interview. We're always in sales. And I just always was a good communicator and was very successful earlier on. My first job was doing the sales, helping people switch over from AT&T Mall Bell to MCI or LDSI at the time before they got bought out. And that's what I've done my whole life. So I've been doing that now for almost 30 years, which is crazy to say. But I love it.
You've been doing that for almost 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
How old are you?
44 is what they tell me, but I don't pay attention to those silly numbers. It's just a loop around the sun, people.
That's it. 44.
Yeah.
You've accomplished quite a bit.
Well, I got a lot more to do.
You do, and remember that. So now let's get talking about 101 CBD.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hear about the story, how you got started, and then let's run ourselves into today.
Yeah, well, like I was saying, so I was doing some real estate stuff. I was doing some sales and marketing. I had some sales and marketing companies that I owned and ran, and just doing my thing. And life was good. We had, the white picket fence, the house, the dog. We had our first daughter, and then our second son came along. And so basically life couldn't have been any better, right? And so then all of a sudden we got this diagnosis, a regressive condition with our son. He'd lost his language, he'd lost his connection with us, and he just wasn't himself anymore. And so we got a diagnosis, and it was that he had developed a severe autism onset. And my mom had grown up, or she was a psychologist, and she had worked with special needs children. So I flew her out to get her diagnosis or her take. And she said, yeah, Justin, we have a problem. So when that happens and you have a severe diagnosis of autism, the first thing you do is, it's a grieving process. You're overwhelmed. You don't know if they're going to be able to take care of themselves. You don't know, what it's going to do. I mean, it's just an incredible big burden, because you're overwhelmed. And so it's hard. And it's the crazy thing is most marriages that deal with a special needs child, I think it's like 80 or 90% end in divorce. And it's really, really hard on people. And so fortunately I was raised holistically, and I understood how plants work. And so I did some research. I wasn't going to put my kid on drugs. I don't believe that they figured it out. For me, it feels like kind of a crapshoot when doctors are prescribing things. It's like, well, try this one or try this one or try this one. And I was never going to go that way. So we cleaned up his diet, really made sure it was clean. There was no, any kind of processed foods or refined sugars or all the crap that you see advertised on TV. So we cleaned all that out. Very clean juicing diet, kale, broccoli, carrots, celery. We used some probiotics, and we got his condition down quite a bit, but we hadn't got him back all the way. And then I did some research and found out about these 3 letters that changed my life, which is CBD. There's some kids, or especially one, Charlotte Fiji out in Colorado, had 300 seizures a day. She was in hospice and was not going to live. And they had read some research back from Dr. Raphael Mechoulam in the 70s that showed that CBD oil can help reduce or eliminate seizures. And so I figured, well, if it could help with seizures, well, maybe it could help with autism, because it was totally, just a wing and a prayer that we would be able to find something. Because at this point, we were trying anything we could that made sense. But at that time, there wasn't any research. I also came across this.
Let me ask you one thing. Mm-hmm. So again, tell us how you came to CBD, mm-hmm. thinking that was going to be, was that the proper step to take? Was that the next line? Was that where the hope was going to be found for children with mm-hmm. seizures or autism or mm-hmm. any other child? Is that what you were really looking for? Is that what holistic medicine people said this is the way to go?
Oh, I didn't have to. There was no research at the time. Autism has exploded. 25 years ago, autism was 1 in 10,000 children. Right now, it's 1 in 30, roughly. So it's exploded over the last 20 years for a lot of different reasons. And so there wasn't any research, Charles. And I knew that I trusted my instincts, which is what I tell parents and individuals. So many people want to give over their empowerment to someone who wears a white coat. Look, there's a lot of doctors that got in there for the right reasons, but some of them were fed some bad information, especially when you recycle every prescription drug recycles in an average of 4 years, and they're getting their information about their drugs from the pharmaceutical salespeople. There was a time when a family doctor came out to your house with his little bag, and he would understand who everyone's name was and the name of the dog, and he would get to know you. And it was an actual relationship. And it wasn't built on fixing a symptom. It was making sure that the root cause was being taken care of. Look, there's 5 things you can do to make your life better. Number 1, drink water, drink great water. Reverse osmosis water, distilled water, Fiji water. You can also drink any kind of natural spring water. Another thing you do after that is you are what you eat. We all know that. You need to cut out the processed foods, the refined sugars, and all of those kinds of things. Those things are the things that clog up your system and get them all wrong. After that, you want to make sure that you're being mindful and intentional. So if you're being mindful and intentional, then those are the things that are going to help you, whether it's through prayer, whether it's through meditation, but you're very clear about what your future is, because your brain does not know the difference between what happened in the past, what's happening now, or what's happening in the future. After that, you need to make sure that you're exercising at least 20 minutes a day. That can be a walk in the morning or any type of exercise in the afternoon. And finally, you need sleep. If you do those 5 things, your body knows how to heal. Just like when you were 7 years old and you cut yourself and it naturally healed in a day or 2, our bodies know exactly how to heal. But when we give them things that work against our body's healing, which is processed food and meat and all of that junk out there, that fructose corn syrup, they won't even allow that in the country of France. We've been sold a bill of goods that does not pass. And so the CBD helps people realize that there's another way. Look, CBD is part of a plant. CBD is in broccoli. It's in kale. Our bodies make it naturally. It stands for cannabidiol. They don't teach it in the medical community. They didn't even know about it until the 90s. We educate and help doctors and nurses to understand this endocannabinoid system because of things like Clubhouse. And like I said, at the end of the day, I was looking for an answer for my son, and I was willing to try anything that made sense to me. And something that grew out of the ground, that was a green leafy plant, that was getting rid of seizures in children, I was willing to try for my son. And first and foremost, I tried it first for myself. And I would always recommend anybody that's trying to help their child with a severe diagnosis to try it for yourself. And when I tried raw cannabis oil, raw CBD oil, which just comes from the hemp plant, I could personally experience and feel it when I made that first one. And I was like, this makes sense. And when my son was at a pumpkin patch, he was screaming, kicking, tantruming, did not want to be there. All the other kids were playing and having a good time. My wife takes the tincture out, puts it under his tongue and his mouth. And literally in 2 minutes later, he pops up, snaps out of it, and goes and picks a pumpkin. All of our family was there. And right then, we knew that we had found something. Now, we had no idea how much we had found. But along with that great diet of his and that getting rid of all of the gluten, getting rid of all of the sugar, getting rid of all of the wheat, all of the things that clog up our brains and our bodies, he now, happy to say, is off the spectrum, no longer considered autistic. He's what they call neurotypical. And so we set up 101cbd.org as a platform to give hope and education to other families out there that are suffering. We give away free products to anybody who wants to try it. We have free consultations on the website. We give away free seeds, hemp seeds that you can grow in your backyard. You could buy them from the grocery store, or you could buy or get them from us for free. Just put it in the notes, and we'll even show you the videos how to teach you how to grow them in their backyard. So that's my mission. I got rid of all my other businesses, closed everything down, and I've been doing this ever since because I saw there was such a need in this planet for people to understand, to be awoken to the fact that we can heal ourselves by what we put in our minds and what we put in our mouths.
Hey, Jeanette, how you doing? Now, she just came out with fructose. Yeah. Something that you just said blows my mind because I'd never heard that. You said that France and Europe, no
corn fructose syrup. It's against the law. They'll leave the food at the gate.
You're loaded with it.
And everything. It bypasses our sugar. Our body doesn't even know how to process it. We even sent some aid to Russia I think 10 years ago or so. and they're having some bad situation, and they literally let the food rot at the border. They wouldn't even let it into their own country. We are feeding ourselves poison, and a lot of us don't know. And that's the sad part. So that's why we at the Miracle Plant, that's our podcast, and we're here to pay it forward. You are what you eat. You are what you absorb, the people that you surround yourself with, the foods that you eat. And because of things like the platforms like this, Charles, which I'm happy to be here, and platforms like Clubhouse, we're having real conversations. Like right here, what you mentioned the word, CBD on Facebook, they can, say that this is flagged as a bad thing. Look, CBD is federally legal. It's just like corns and soybeans. George Washington grew CBD. But because Big Pharma has got deep pockets, they're going to control who gets to do what and when they say who. So things like Clubhouse, you just have conversations about truth, find your tribe, attract your tribe with your vibe, as they say. And I'm just so happy that we have this platform and other platforms to have honest conversations about what's really working for people. I was on all morning with Glenn Morshower, and he has such incredible wisdom. And to listen to a guy who's experienced things and can actually articulate words to give us hope and our mindset to really understand, you don't have to be paranoid. You can be pronoid. There's pronoia, that the universe and the planets and God, or whatever you choose to believe, is actually working for you, through you, versus working against you. Because we have these 2 million-old brains, and these 2 million-old brains are lizard brains, and they're looking for what's wrong. They're looking for a saber-toothed tiger to jump out of the bushes over there. Well, look, we have a conscious mind now. So you have to make sure what you're putting in your brain, you're programming your brain to look for the good. So once again, don't get me started on Clubhouse.
Hey, now I just had back problems. I was down for 3 weeks and I was aching, and I finally said, you know what? I've got some of this roll-on. And I need to try that. I'd gotten a hold of my doctor, and he says, look, I'm going to get you some muscle relaxants, and we're going to get you some anti-inflammatories. And I said, you know what? I'm going to stick with what I have. I'm going to use this roll-on. I'm not going to take those. I had anaphylactic shock. It's been 30 years ago, but I was in the hospital for a week just trying to live because of a mixture of anti-inflammatories and muscle relaxers, and they couldn't decide what had happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I just said, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go this way. So I gave him a list of exactly what I'm taking, and I showed him this to help me in the morning, and this to help me sleep at night, and this roll-on, which gave me this little bottle, because this is one of your sample bottles.
Mm-hmm. Travel size, yeah.
Yeah, travel size. And I said, you will not believe the difference that this makes. I went to bed where I was about in tears, and this was able to help me out. And I'm going, I am never going to take another muscle relaxer again. But I will take some. I believe you have something called the Alleviate.
Alleviate X, you betcha.
Alleviate X. So that will be coming to our house.
Love it.
And so I can get away from the regular Aleve and the other pills that we have in there for headaches and stuff. And we're just going to go all natural as much as I can.
Love it, man.
So
anything that comes from the earth is all right by me.
And that's what we're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Let's take a look here real quick. We are going to mention, I've got your information down here. Is this correct?
You got it. Perfect, brother.
Okay. I believe I grabbed that from your Facebook site.
Mm-hmm.
And now you were mentioning Clubhouse.
You bet.
And
Clubhouse.
Number one, what has social media done to help your business during this pandemic?
Well, social media hasn't done much. They actually work against you because for whatever reason, the FDA has, been able to convince, or the people that run the FDA, which is the billionaire club, that somehow it's not legal to to sell a legal product on their platforms, and it's all big pharma money. Who we kidding? And so it's been really challenging to get our products to advertise like a normal business, like an everyday business. And so, it's been really hard. It's hard to run Facebook ads. It's hard to run Instagram ads. It's hard to run Google ads. It's hard to run YouTube ads because they're banning a substance that's completely legal, that was deemed legal by our Congress back in December of 2018. It was grown by George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. It's the America's, original cash crop. And so, it's been challenging, but, that's how when Jeffrey Gitomer decided to go live March 16th, 2020 and flipped his screen on, that was when there was some hope in the very beginning of all this. And he was telling us what we could do and get out there and call your customers and be of service and call them with an idea and just call them and see how they're doing and how you can help. And then one thing led to another. And then Jeffrey Gitomer, has a mastermind that he runs with Joe Soto. And so I needed help to switch all my businesses. I have retail stores in Southern California and Colorado. And I needed to switch because people weren't coming to the store anymore, right? So I had to switch from in-person to online. And so working with Joe Soto and, all of his team and all of his expertise and his networking has really allowed us to switch our entire company around. So I'll forever be indebted to that. And then when Clubhouse came out, Joe Soto actually got me on Clubhouse, December 28th, 2020. And it's been the biggest change in my life, in my business. I've been able to talk with doctors and nurses and ones that understand the power of the cannabis plant and others that want to understand the power of the cannabis plant. I've been sending out over 1,000 products in less than a month to people to try our products, for cancer survivors, for people that are also battling autism like we did. Cancer, you name it. It's just been unbelievable because there's no one over there telling us what we can or can't do. You just open up an app and you have a conversation. You look at the name of the group and you pop in. And if you have something to say, you raise your hand and you hop on stage and you talk, or you can sit back in the audience and listen. And then you start to follow people that you groove with. And like right now I'm on a Clubhouse over here networking event. And, it's just incredible. And so I set up a website, www.chwizard.com. It's just me. I had a little fun, the Clubhouse Wizard. I put on a little wizard outfit I bought online from Lord of the Rings or something. And I dance around a little bit and just give you the updates from the founders, write what they're saying every month. A Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific, they come on and give an hour update of what's the newest things that are happening. And I'm so encouraged by this platform. There's 180 investors currently. Andrew Chen is the biggest one. And then I'm going to be 181 the second I can. I'm reaching out to them, trying to figure out a way. It has changed the world, and it's going to continue to change the world. So I'm very happy to talk about Clubhouse. And if anybody has any questions or wants to get on, I just waved like 5 or 6 people in this morning. Reach out to me on Facebook and I'll put you in my contacts. And for some reason, that's the way to go. The more iPhone contacts that you're in, and when you go register at Clubhouse app on your iPhone, that's how you get in.
Got it. Well, Justin, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time out from your Clubhouse time, because I know you are there constantly.
Oh, I'm going to be there in 2 minutes.
I really appreciate you coming on. I'm going to put you in the back. Hold on for a second, and I will see you in just a moment.
Thanks for having me on, brother.
Thank you so much. All right. That is Bay Area Let's Talk for today. I will be back on in maybe 20 minutes doing our music, talking about music on this day. So thank you to our guest, Justin Benton. Again, 101cbd.org. You can find him. I've still got his number running down. If you are looking for natural products to help you with anything, if you are looking for a way to change your life and do it naturally, check it out. We didn't talk about it, but everything's organic that he uses. It's a cold press system that he's using. So check it out. And I just want to thank you for being here today. Have a great afternoon. Lynn, thank you for joining us. And Jeanette and Doug, thank you both. And we will see you soon. Bye.